Welcome everybody to the latest webinar in conjunction with the Department of Natural Resources. It's Sustainable Practices for Wisconsin Printers, Transportation Emission Reduction webinar. Thank you everybody for participating today. The program is brought to you by, again, Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources, the Green Tier Program, SGP, FTA, Great Lakes Graphics Association, SGIA, or the newly minted Printing United Alliance, and TLMI. My name is Joe Lyman. I'm president of the Great Lakes Graphics Association. I'll be moderating today. A little bit about the webcast logistics. All attendees are muted. If you have a question or a comment, please use the side chat box on the right side of their screen. Also, questions can also be asked at the end of the program. So if you have a question, immediate question, please use the chat feature and I'll unmute myself to ask the presenter. Otherwise, you can always ask at the end of the webinar. This webcast is being recorded and it will be made available to you in the next couple days. And information will follow shortly after the webinar in an email with a request for you to submit comments for a survey based on the performance of the webinar itself. A little bit about today's agenda. Welcome and introductions. We'll talk a little bit about Sustainable Green Printing Partnership Program. We'll talk about the Green Tier Program. We'll overview EPA's Smart Way Program. We'll overview the UPS's Sustainability Program. And then we'll do a case study with Junker Industries, which is a designated UPS carbon neutral shipper and participant in the Smart Way program. A little bit about the Green Tier and SGP crossover program. Wisconsin Green Tier Program Printer Industry Charter values partnerships among our industry and the Department of Natural Resources and encourages certifications like SGP and Green Tier that support printers on their sustainability journey. Today's webinar is one example of the Charter's work to help printers improve their sustainable business practices. Both Green Tier and Sustainable Green Printing Partnership programs offer Wisconsin printers the opportunity to reduce their environmental impacts and operational costs through a comprehensive sustainability or environmental management system to continuously improve performance. I encourage you to visit their websites and learn more about how Green Tier and SGP can help you grow your green bottom line. A little bit about today's speakers. We welcome Buddy Polovic. Buddy is the team leader for the Smart Way Transportation Program, and he's worked with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency for 25 years at the Office of Transportation and Air Quality, Transportation and Climate Division, which is part of EPA's Office of Air and Radiation. Based in Ann Arbor, Michigan, at the National Vehicle and Fuel Emissions Laboratory, Buddy is a team leader for the Smart Way Transport Partnership. Buddy has worked with the industry leaders on Smart Way since its inception almost 20 years ago. We also welcome Andrea Smith, who is a Sustainability Program Manager for UPS. After being employed for 10 years in various engineering positions, she moved into the sustainability team in 2017 and now manages environmental inventories, voluntary sustainability reporting, and the development of UPS's long-term sustainability strategy. She ensures UPS accurately captures and reports the metrics associated with UPS's environmental responsibility initiatives. Finally, we welcome Doug Oates, who is the VP of Operations and the Client Services for Junker. Doug joined Junker in 2016 and oversees all client services, manufacturing, finishing, prototype, packaging, fulfillment, and shipping operations. Doug brings over 40% of print experience in his partnerships with several vendors within the industry. Prior to Junker, Doug was VP of Operations for a similar large format printer who focuses largely on retail clients, fast food, fleet graphics, and recreational product solutions. Welcome today's speakers. Now,
thanks, Joe.
Turn it over to Buddy for his portion of the webinar.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. Good afternoon, everybody. And I'd like to thank Joe and all the other organizations that gave us this opportunity to speak with your stakeholders and also to share the stage with these industry leaders. As Joe mentioned, even though I'm part of EPA's headquarters and based in Ann Arbor, I do understand how important the environment in the Midwest is. I'm a son of the Midwest, and I understand how precious our unique environment is and why it's so important that we protect it. Just full disclosure for all you Badgers, I am not a Wolverine. I'm actually an Ohio State Buckeye, but that's another long story. So before I talk about SmartWay, I do want to take a few minutes just to kind of frame what some of the drivers are for why freight is so critical to EPA and all of us, as well as its impacts. And it really starts by taking a look at the scale of goods movement in the U.S., which is just massive, as you all well understand. Over $18 trillion of annual value, over 55 tons of freight per person in this country, which is pretty phenomenal, and over 17 billion tons of freight annually. We, of course, have seen massive growth and changes in the marketplace, given the current circumstances of what's happening in our economy. But as you all well know, and as EPA understands, freight is a cornerstone of this economy, contributing over 13 million jobs related to freight movement and processing, and almost 10% of our nation's GDP. Next. But with all that activity and that growth and that activity comes an impact, many impacts on the environment and public health. With regard to greenhouse gases, freight transportation uses about 2/3 of our nation's petroleum and creates about a quarter of the total greenhouse gas emissions in the United States. Within the transportation sector, as you might expect, even though light-duty passenger cars and trucks are about 2/3 of our greenhouse gas emissions, freight alone is over 25% of our transportation GHGs, and it's actually growing more rapidly than passenger transportation, again, for reasons that probably all of you understand. So this is something that we need to get our hands around. Next. But with that environmental impact, there is also public health impact. Diesel engines, which are the workhorses of the freight sector, do have some unique challenges. They are known as significant generators of both diesel particulates and diesel NOx emissions. Particulates at the PM 2.5 and PM 10 level are extremely small particles, which can create all kinds of health issues, especially for people, elderly, children, and asthmatics, and others that have aggravated health conditions. Diesel NOx emissions are also a significant source of ground level ozone, with similar health impacts on the public. So these are additional reasons why we need to address the health impacts from diesel emissions. Next, please. So in order to do that, EPA sat down about 20 years ago with industry leaders to develop a voluntary freight partnership called SmartWay. This is intended to be a market-based visibility, recognition, and improvement program, which helps industry across the board to improve their freight emissions and freight performance. And at the 40,000-foot level, it's essentially a program about continuous improvement that starts at the top of the graphic there with helping companies to actually measure and baseline their supply chain emissions footprint, again, both in terms of greenhouse gas emissions as well as NOx and PM. The program helps you to then benchmark that performance so that you compare yourself year over year, as well as to your industry peers and competitors. And then to reliably report those results in corporate social responsibility reports and other public disclosure and shareholder reports. But that's just the starting point. Then we work with the industry to help them figure out ways that they can adopt technologies and strategies which innovate their operations, which lead to fuel and energy savings, which of course also happens to help the bottom line. But then to continue to track that improvement over time and to continue that process on an annual basis. Next, please. To take a closer look, I'm not going to go too much into the weeds, but the data that we collect and benchmark with our partners is really the core of the program. And it begins most importantly with the freight carriers, the transportation providers that are moving freight for customers and clients. They give EPA on an annual basis a very detailed accounting of their equipment, their fleet, and their operations. Carriers do reporting on things like total gallons of fuel and different types of fuel used, annual mileage, volume and weight carried, as well as doing a detailed inventory of the class and model year of equipment that they're using. EPA then uses that data to essentially rate and rank their performance in a way that still preserves their confidential business information, but which does allow their customers to understand their performance. That data is then made available to both logistics providers who hire them, who in turn also do their own accounting of their total operations, as well as shipper customers who in turn hire logistics partners and or carrier partners. The shippers themselves do a detailed accounting of their total annual freight activity using that high quality data through the SmartWay portal. And that's how shipper customers are able to get very accurate reporting of their freight operations. And I think you're going to hear more about that from the perspective of both UPS and Junker later on our call. Next. Now, as I mentioned, the data is really just a starting point. EPA wants to help partners to understand their performance so that they can then understand what they need to do to improve it. And one of the ways that we do that is through our technology verification program for SmartWay designated tractors and trailers. We work with manufacturers to help them to test and verify the performance, the fuel saving and emissions reduction performance of multiple categories of technologies, including advanced aerodynamics, auto reduction, and various tire technologies. And we use those findings to actually designate SmartWay tractors and trailers at various levels. And OEMs are now producing, marketing, and selling SmartWay designated equipment throughout the United States. There's a tremendous amount of technical resources available through the program to help carriers figure out how to spec and maintain equipment to meet their needs. Next, please. EPA also works to essentially provide a clearinghouse of information on strategies and technologies, which again can help carriers to understand ways that they can improve performance based on their own unique freight operations or fleet type. These are just a sample of technology bulletins that we post. We also host regular webinars and training sessions, working with our partners to actually share their best practices and lessons learned so that industry overall can improve performance over time. Next, please. As I mentioned earlier, the SmartWay program is a branded program which is intended to help companies to get recognition and visibility for their commitments to freight sustainability. Of course, in addition to helping them improve performance, those who are high performers or who are leaders of the pack get opportunities to compete for the annual SmartWay Excellence Award, which is a coveted industry award given every year. It will be awarded again this fall and early November to each of our categories of partners. We do have a high performers list, which looks at other criteria for rating and ranking top performers in the program. And we use social media, press releases, and other sources of media to essentially promote the achievements of our partners in the program. Next. Based on the data that we've collected from our partners over the last 16 or so years, we've shown that our partners have saved collectively almost $40 billion in fuel, over 130 million tons of greenhouse gas, NOx, and particulate emissions, and a significant amount of energy. This is largely because of the growth in the partnership. We now have almost 4,000 carriers, shippers, and logistics partners in the program, and they are collectively working together to save the same amount of energy that would power about 18 million homes in the United States. So next, just to wrap up, we would welcome anybody to contact us if you're looking for more information about the program or have questions. We do run a hotline and we have a mailbox. I encourage you to check out our website. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Andrea at UPS. UPS was a charter partner in the SmartWay program. They were one of 15 companies that sat down with us actually almost 20 years ago to begin to design this program. And it's largely through the leadership of companies like theirs and others that this program has become such a success. So Andrea, I'll turn it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Buddy. And thank you to all the participants on the line this afternoon. UPS is proud to be at the forefront of companies in our industry working to address sustainability challenges in the most efficient and responsible ways possible. Our initiatives are focused on our own operations as well as building efficiency into our customer supply chain and working with customers such as Yonkers to reduce their environmental impact. We also know that the best solutions come from a collaborative effort, and we are committed to working with all of our stakeholders to integrate new ideas. So partnerships are a key part of our program, and UPS is proud to be a charter partner of the EPA's SmartWay program. In fact, UPS participated in the development of some of the tools that Buddy referenced there. And as a multimodal carrier, we are a multi-year recipient of the SmartWay Excellence Award. So for UPS, simple modifications to our global scale and integrated network can drive efficiency and save operational expenses. This quickly enhances the company's long-term resilience or the company's ability to sustain itself or sustainability. This is why we believe sustainability is inherent to UPS's business operations and strategy. Next slide, please, Joe. So specifically, our sustainability strategy is developed and refined by changes occurring in our industry and at the world at large. With so many social, environmental, and economic issues affecting the world, UPS must truly focus our efforts where we can create meaningful change. So in 2016, we set a set of 10 sustainability goals as listed here on the slide. And across three main areas, our 2020 goals are community focused. UPS prides itself on being great partners and great neighbors in the communities in which we live, work, and operate. So we set goals there within the community around dollars contributed, hours volunteered, and trees planted. Then also our workforce. Workforce is truly important, and the 2020 goals you see there are around ensuring that our workforce returns home at the end of the day, because that is the most critical thing. So safety metrics there with reduction of auto accident frequencies and lost time injury frequencies. Also ensuring that you have an engaged workforce, because there's so many benefits to having that engaged workforce. And then what we're here today to talk about are truly UPS's environmental goals. So how we view our environmental goals are as a primary goal with really three levers or triggers that we need to pull in order to achieve that goal. Our primary goal is a 12% reduction by 2025 in our absolute greenhouse gas emissions across the global ground operations. It's a mouthful, but essentially it means that regardless of how large UPS grows, how many additional packages we ship per year, we are committed to reducing our greenhouse gases in the global ground operation. How we plan to do that is really by the three goals that you see following, with an increase in renewable electricity. Think solar, rooftop solar is a big part of the strategy, and looking into some purchased renewable electricity. But then also increasing the use of alternative fuels. So there's those cleaner burning fuels, moving away from your fossil-based gasoline and diesel, and ensuring that we have the vehicles to place those fuels in. Next slide, please. So specifically, how do we plan on achieving these goals? UPS has what we have called the Global Smart Logistics Network, and that's actually the title of the slide you see there. It got kind of cut off on a picture, so I apologize. But at UPS, we are improving our integrated network by exploring such forward-thinking innovations as real-time data, mobile connectivity, robotics, blockchain, to seamlessly integrate our digital and physical networks modernize our facility and fleet, and better manage our operations. Starting from the top there, you see our network planning tool, which gives us a complete view of our operations around the world. It enables us to predict and optimize the flow of up to 60 million packages. In our hubs and package centers, UPS engineers have a suite of tools that comprise the EDGE program, or the Enhanced Dynamic Global Execution program, and that just truly works to identify operational efficiencies. And then we have kind of our pride and joy. We have Orion, which is the on-road integrated optimization and navigation technology, has been deployed across the US and internationally. Essentially, it's a very robust navigational program, but the efficiencies through routing optimizations have saved annually 100 million miles, 10 million gallons of fuel, and 100,000 metric tons of CO2 simply by better routing. So truly proud of the in-house Orion program. And then finally, we have the DIAD, or that handheld device that you see carried by our drivers, the Delivery Information Acquisition Device, which is a tool every UPS driver uses daily to ensure that they are getting the most current, up-to-date safety and education information. Next slide, please. Additionally, a huge part of our sustainability initiative is our fleet. And using the rolling laboratory approach, we develop and test alternative fuels and advanced technology vehicles to determine which solution works best in different operating scenarios. So since 2008, we have invested more than $1 billion in these alternative fuel vehicles and the infrastructure to support them. We currently have deployed more than 11,000 low emission vehicles, and it's this diverse fleet of specialized sustainable vehicles that drive more than 1 million miles every day. The low emission vehicles are those such as propane or ethanol, your LNG, your CNG, which are used for all purpose. And then specifically for cities, we utilize technology to reduce smog, congestion, noise with electric vehicles, electric hybrid vehicles, hydraulic hybrid vehicles, and e-bikes. So UPS started out as a bicycle company, as a bicycle delivery messenger company, and we're excited to go back to the bike in some of our urban logistics solutions. In addition to the vehicles that are currently in operation, we are collaborating with suppliers to increase alternative delivery options, such as on pre-order, we have with Tesla 125 of their electric powered semi-tractor trailers. And then we have a huge commitment to renewable natural gas with our agreement to purchase 250 million gallons last year. And just looking at the infrastructure needed to support an electric vehicle fleet, we have London's smart grid technology, which powers and charges vehicles in areas where the grid infrastructure may not be ready for electric deployment. Next slide, please. So here you see some of our urban delivery concepts. As part of our last mile solutions for urban areas, UPS is collaborating with cities and vehicle vendors to design and test new ways to more efficiently make urban deliveries that also minimize congestion and noise and pollution. UPS and our city collaborators have a shared interest in reducing congestion, promoting sustainability, and truly enhancing the quality of life for those we serve. We engage with city officials and business leaders. We offer thought leadership and industry expertise and truly work toward a collaborative and innovative logistics solutions that minimizes some of the urban challenges of congestion, noise, and pollution. Next slide, please. So how do we work with customers? That was a lot about what UPS does for our own operations, but how do we work with our customers? We know our customers want to ship more with a reduced environmental impact. So we offer a wide range of solutions that customers can choose to ensure a lower carbon journey. First, we deploy initiatives to lower the environmental impacts across our global logistics network. So simply by choosing UPS, customers' packages travel a more sustainable journey. And then next, we also offer sustainable solutions customers can opt into that offset emissions entirely, which is through our UPS carbon neutral shipping program, which Yonkers is a part of, and it's just a very exciting program to offset the emissions generated by the movement of your packages. So it's either signed at the contractual level with large customers such as Yonkers, or you and I as individual shippers can go to ups.com, and if we're shipping a package to family members across the country, can opt to offset the carbon generated from that specific package through a transactional carbon neutral shipping program. We also collaborate with customers who want to take their sustainable logistics to the next level. So through supply chain optimization analysis, sustainable packaging initiatives, and designing new solutions through what we call co-innovation sessions, where we get together virtually now in rooms and brainstorm ideas to work together to reduce our environmental impact. So with that, next slide, please, Joe. I've included a couple ways to stay in touch with UPS's sustainability program, whether it be through our newsletter, or we have a great thought leadership blog with longitudes, and there you'll find us on social media. And then last slide, please, Joe. I thank you for your time. Look forward to the questions and answers, and pass it over to Doug Oakes with Yonker Industries.
Well, thank you. I want to say Adrian instead of your name. It's my daughter's name, but thank you very much. I want to introduce Nadine Seitz. She is actually on our committee as well. Our sustainability and all of our efforts aren't made up of just my performance, but also the performance of the sustainability team under me, and I've asked a couple of those members to join. Just want Nadine to kick it off with a statement.
Okay, Joe, next slide, please. Hi, everyone. I'm Nadine Seitz, Marketing Manager here at Yonker Industries, along with a member of the Green Committee. I'd like to welcome and thank everyone on the call today for participating and letting us share a little bit about our sustainable journey with you. Just to give you a little bit about us, Yonker is a women-owned, WBE family-owned company with over 70 years of producing custom signage and graphics for all retailers, brands, and agencies. We are an environmentally conscious company that has long operated a plant-wide recycling program and constantly researches new materials that are environmentally friendly and easier to recycle. And at this point now, I'll hand it back over to Doug. Thank you. Next slide.
You know, a little bit about our history. We've been in business 72 years, and it's been a constant effort in the last 50 area to focus on our environment and our responsibility within that environment. We need to pass down a more sustainable environment with younger generations to come. We started our SGP and Green Tier journey several years ago. With dual certification, it's a responsibility of us to not only manufacture, but to ship responsibly. Initially, we were focused more on manufacturing. We coupling with UPS and GLGA, we came up with the pack size option, which brought us where we were bringing in as many shipments of corrugated boxes in. We were able to package our product in a much tighter box, protecting the product better, and being able to make step forward to our eco-responsible packing partner situation here. It's been a great program for us. We moved from that to getting a bubble machine, which we actually produce our own bubble wrap here in-house. It's not only eco-responsible, it reduces our footprint by many ways. One's the transportation in. We receive a skid of product in a bubble, and before it's inflated, it's about 240 square foot worth of product that used to sit on our floor. So it freed up floor space, as well as the pack size did, because now we have just bundles of corrugated instead of multiple boxes coming in, and they were ordered oversized because everybody's concerned about not having a box big enough for their product. So we have an oversized box. We're stuffing it with more product to get it out the door. We were able to reduce our materials, increase our recyclability because all these items, the bubble and the corrugated, are both recyclable products, unlike the standard bubble you get in roll form. We're further moving in that direction by adding electric forklifts and this is an ongoing project to convert our propane to electricity. Next slide, please. Our carbon neutral certification, we're proud to see the reduction in the first year of almost 32 metric tons. This has been a really rewarding effort because the efforts put into it when UPS came in and suggested the program to us, and we worked with the program, was very seamless for us. It was a very easy transition for everybody. And then we saw this impact, and that was amazing. And the next year, we're pushing 40 metric tons. So we mitigated that in 40 metric tons with the UPS program. And this year, we're going to be shipping more product, and I'm sure we're going to be over 40 metric tons that we mitigated. And that's with 20%, 20, 25% more volume this year than what we had last. So very impressive numbers, how everything's turning out. And just kind of feeds what your efforts were, and then you get this feeling that you've made a difference. And we made a difference to pass down something to other generations. Next slide, please. The Eco-Responsible Shipping Program is one where we are able to put together a smaller box that protects the product better. We went through several steps of this. We've not finished where we got the certification yet at this point, but we're still working on it. It has taught us to make a smaller, stronger box that's better protecting the product, using less packing items, and getting less damage. We're well under 1% of damaged product, and very happy with the results of what we've learned of this program so far. Next slide, please. Competitive advantage. I brought up the product protection, the reduction of the package size. Both of those actually will reduce what our shipping costs are to our customers. They enable us to use better space management. The eco-friendly shipping, it's a selling point to our customers. We get into a RFI or a RFQ, and we're going through all the questions, and we're adding this criteria in with that, and it's a great selling point for us. I mean, all of our big clients are looking for better sustainability, somebody that's conscious in what they're doing, not only in the manufacturing process, but in shipping the product as well. And it's becoming a big client requirement and moving forward with new clients. So we've enjoyed a good year this year, and that's a good portion, that's a portion of it, is being able to offer those changes to people and dynamics of how we handle our product responsibly in and out of the building. Next slide, please. At Yunker, we believe in working together, much like we have worked with UPS and Green Tier. Some of the items we've been able to get nice discounts on through both of those. I brought up the pack size. That was one that's, most of the price on that was comped, and it's through the buying the corrugation and working through UPS and Green Tier on, or work UPS and GLGA on these items. A very nice program. Our plan is on sustainability. We like to share our stories with others. We've recently gone through a Trex plastics recycling program where it involves all of our employees, our community, and it's a collection of different plastics: grocery bags, cereal box liners, ice bags, Ziploc bags, anything you can think of, and we donate this. We collect and give it to Trex. They make plastic deck material, wood products, or wood substitute products, I should say. And in doing so, we've had a bench that we got from this as a reward from Trex. We've donated that to a local organization. It's Treehouse Family Services that work with children that's come from some unfortunate incidents in life, and this helps them get on with their life. So it's there at their facility, it's in their playground, it's something that the local community can look at, enjoy, and know that we're doing the right thing. Next slide, please. Just a slide that shows that our success depends on everyone, not only our employees, our environment, our sustainability committee as we sit here and speak to you, but also all the assistance we've got from everybody on this slide. You know, Green Tier, SGP, they've been great to deal with. UPS, Great Lakes Graphics, you know, everybody here that's really stepped up, and we enjoy that support from these people and the ongoing communication with these people on how we can get better in years to come. Thank you very much, and I will pass you on to Joe so we can complete this journey and share whatever answers we can for everybody.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I really think the speakers, Buddy, Andrea, and Doug, I apologize. I have a little bit of a cold today, so my brain's a little foggy. Needless to say, I appreciate the expertise of each one of the speakers today. It's fantastic information. Wanted to open it up to questions. I did receive some already, so if you'd like to ask a question, let me know. But I have some already. For Buddy, I thought the Smart Way was just for carriers, and was surprised to hear that shippers can participate too. How do shippers join and participate? What's in it for them?
Yeah, thanks, Joe. Yeah, we actually get that question a lot because there's some confusion out there that a lot of people think, oh, SmartWay is just a trucking program. I see the sticker on the trucks. But the program, as I tried to frame at the beginning, is really intended to help the entire freight sector, from freight shippers and carriers and logistics providers and others, to each address the unique role they play in the freight supply chain. And that's why when we sat down to develop a charter partnership 20 years ago, we brought key shippers to the table too, companies like Nike and IKEA and several other big Fortune 500 companies, because these companies are under a lot of pressure to address their carbon footprint. And they have tremendous amount of influence on selecting and incentivizing improvement of cleaner and greener carriers. So what shippers can do in the program is to actually do an annual accounting of the amount of freight that they ship with SmartWay and or non-SmartWay registered carriers and logistics providers. And they then are able to get a full snapshot of their emissions footprint, which they can then use for their own disclosure reporting, their own carbon benchmarking and goal setting. And then they also can use the SmartWay brand and get visibility and recognition. So I would definitely encourage shippers to take a close look at how they can participate and learn about the benefits of working in SmartWay. Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you, Buddy. I have a question for Andrea. Could you please explain the UPS carbon neutral program and how it works? Specifically, are the carbon emissions determined and offset? Andrea, are you still with us?
Unmute.
Sorry, I was on a double mute.
Okay, that's all right.
So great question. Thank you for asking. And essentially, yes. So carbon neutral shipping is available one of two ways, either contractual, where you sign as a large customer across the portfolio of the packages shipped with UPS, or transactional. So on a transaction by transaction basis, you select it. But essentially, what we do is we have a customer solutions team that has an in-house carbon calculator that is very robust. I'm very proud of this calculator tool that the team has developed, and they calculate the emissions generated from your package. So then we'll take those emissions and then on your behalf purchase offset projects to counteract those emissions. So to ensure that your carbon impact is now neutralized. But that's essentially how the program works. I'm happy to go into detail if needed.
Excellent. Thank you so much. This question is for Doug and Nadine. I know that you guys have a committee at Junker. And so talk a little bit about how the employees have embraced the work of the committee, and even more so, how do you continue to kind of promote champions throughout different departments?
Okay, thanks, Joe. I'll take that one. So Junker Industries has had a sustainability company for just over 6 years now. We have a core committee of just a few members, and then depending on what the subject content is or what it is that what goal we're going for at that time, we reach out to others within the company as a whole. And then we also have a sustainability board or a green board, I should say, in our lunchroom, and a sustainability suggestion box where, that's opened up to all employees on a regular basis. So again, core committee, then we open it up to other members within the organization. So I hope that answered that question okay?
Absolutely. And in terms of getting workers to kind of be champions in their own area, right? So
that is correct.
Not only developing that, how do you kind of continue to motivate and encourage them to come up with new ideas?
Sure. And sometimes then too, depending on what it is, so we need a continuous improvement project, and we reach out. So we may offer some kind of like a reward or a gift card or something, and have everybody bring their ideas to the table. And I would send out an email, or I would have again, something similar to a suggestion box in the lunchroom, and ask those that don't have email access to write down some ideas. And put them into that box. And then we, as the core committee, review them all together, and then go to the executive committee and to see what we are able to, what goals we can go for, and achieve within, the time period, or within a year or the next couple of years. So those are always those suggestions from all of our employees. We constantly are looking at those on a regular basis. So.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Nadine.
This
question is for Buddy. Does a trucking firm need to have all the latest technology and fuel-saving devices to participate, or can they be at a certain performance level to join SmartWay?
Okay, thanks, Joe. That's also another question that we get a lot, because again, a lot of people see these beautiful, shiny new SmartWay designated trucks driving around, and they think, oh, SmartWay, that's just for the cleanest, newest, best, most expensive equipment. But that's really anything but the case. SmartWay, again, is intended to help any company of any size and at any performance level to essentially assess their performance based on their own unique operations, and then get a rating for that, and then learn how they can improve. So especially companies, smaller companies, mom and pops, owner operators, that don't necessarily always have the resources to have the newest and cleanest, they're actually the ones that can benefit the most from programs like this, because there is low-hanging fruit out there, driver training and speed control and other low-cost solutions that they can use. And again, the goal here for SmartWay is just to help them to understand where they are and how they compare to their peers, and then to learn how to get better and get visibility for that. So we encourage any company of any size to take a look and let us know if you have questions, so that we can help them figure out how to participate. We welcome all parties. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Buddy. I wanted to go back to Doug and Nadine. I have a question on, are there any additional, or did Junker have any additional cost to becoming a carbon neutral shipper?
Now, as I stated, the transition was very seamless. The additional cost is typically it's pennies per package. It really doesn't amount to much. And offsetting that with being able to reduce the size of a package and better protect them, our customers are actually, I feel, are paying a slightly less price than they've paid in the past. due to us being able to package better and package in a smaller package. The dim weights end up being less. So I think it's been awards for our customers overall. And like I said, the cost is pennies per package. It's really almost nothing. Really, it's a good investment in my eyes.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Doug. I do have one last question for Andrea. You mentioned your current goals are expiring 2020 and 2025. What's next for the UPS program?
Yeah, great question. Love getting this one because it's a very exciting time here at UPS. So we had a new CSO join us about a year ago, Suzanne Lindsay Walker, and she has just brought a host of great ideas. And so what the team is currently undergoing is what we're calling Sustainability 2.0. And it's really, what does the next phase of sustainability look like for UPS? So the team is in the process of determining those goals. We just wrapped up a materiality analysis, which looks at those issues that are truly important, not only to our business outcome, but to our stakeholders as well. So definitely unique in doing it during this time, but kind of some of the things we saw float to the top are an even greater focus on emissions, because we started to see the impact of reduced transportation, right? Air was cleaner globally, and there were like mountain ranges that were visible that hadn't been before. So that really kind of stuck in people's head, and GHG emissions continues to rise to the top of our materiality issues. So excited to see the ambitious goals that UPS is going to set, so stay tuned.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Again, I wanted to thank each one of the speakers once again. They were fantastic today. A lot of information, useful information for every single printer located not only in Wisconsin, but across all three of our states that we represent, Wisconsin, Illinois, and Indiana. We really appreciate you taking the time to speak with us. Again, I wanted to make sure everybody understands that they need to look at the Green Tier program and the SGP program. They're both great for certifications on making sure that your company is more sustainable. And finally, I just wanted to make sure you understand that you'll be receiving an email here in the near future, not only with the recorded presentation, but also to take a small survey to be able to understand how we can make this particular series of webinars, we do it once every quarter, how we can provide for better webinars and even more relevant material that will impact your business and help it in a positive way. So with that, I thank everybody for participating today and look forward to you participating in the next quarterly update. And I believe that's going to be in November or December, but you'll receive information here in the near future about our next series webinar. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great day.